Welcome back to the Crypto World channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now, another massive warning signal is flashing on the Bitcoin chart, while the price is now rejecting again from this critical area of resistance, while Ethereum is now rejecting from this critical area of resistance. So I'll be talking about all of that and more later in the video, so definitely watch to the end. First of all, just before we take a look at the Bitcoin charts today, we need to talk about the Bitcoin news today, because just yesterday we saw another dump from the Bitcoin ETFs. This time around, we saw a net outflow of around 140 million US dollars. And so this basically means a lot of investors, at least at the moment, are withdrawing their money from the Bitcoin ETFs, which means the ETF providers like Fidelity, for example, are having to dump Bitcoin on the market in order to pay out those outflows in US dollars. And so, as I've been saying almost every day over the last week or so, that is the situation, at least at the moment, with the Bitcoin ETFs. They are simply dumping Bitcoin on the market because we're simply seeing outflows, net outflows from the Bitcoin ETFs, investors withdrawing their money out of the Bitcoin ETFs. And so, like I've also been saying almost every day over the last 1 to 2 weeks or so, while these net outflows are happening, expect some short-term selling pressure, some short-term bearish price action. That should not be surprising when we're seeing these net outflows from the Bitcoin ETFs. And with that being said, taking a look at the Bitcoin charts today, this is on the 4-day time frame, and over the last 1 day, this chart right here has not really changed all that much at all. So if you're new to the channel and you want to know more about this chart right here, then check out my last video here on the channel. And if we're taking a look at this daily Bitcoin chart, what we are now seeing, what we've just seen over the last 1 day in the DXY, is a further bullish movement, a further spike to the upside in the DXY, setting a new higher high in this short-term bullish trend in the DXY, which is a bearish signal, a warning signal for Bitcoin and crypto. And obviously, I've been saying that basically every day over the last 2 weeks or so, since much higher prices in the price of Bitcoin. I've been saying that we're seeing a spike to the upside in the DXY, and anytime where the DXY is bullish, that is bearish for Bitcoin. So expect short-term bearish price action for Bitcoin and crypto while we're seeing this bullish movement in the DXY. Because as we can see on this chart time and time again, when the DXY is trending in the bullish direction, that is almost always bearish for Bitcoin and crypto, and vice versa. When the DXY is trending in the bearish direction, that is almost always bullish for Bitcoin and crypto. And so even though we could still potentially remain within the larger bull market on the larger time frames, at least in terms of the short-term trend, once again, as I've been saying recently here on the channel over and over again, the short-term trend is bearish, as I've already been warning about for a while. And when I'm talking about these shorter-term trends on the daily time frame, these trends sometimes last for just a few weeks, sometimes up to a few months. So that is the expectation here moving forward. And like I've also said recently here on the channel, in order to be more confident that we're actually flipping more bullish again in terms of the short-term trend here, just in the shorter term for the price of Bitcoin, in order to be confident that that is happening, we need to see a further bearish reversal in the DXY, which at least for now has not happened. And so not much has really changed here. We're still seeing the short-term bearish trend for Bitcoin, while the short-term bullish trend is continuing in the DXY as expected. And if we're taking a look at this daily Bitcoin chart, over the last 1 day, we saw another almost perfect rejection from this area of resistance, which is sitting in between around 67 to 68,000. And we saw a rejection from around 66.6K. And so basically the price started to get very close to that major area of resistance where we already know there's a lot of selling pressure there, a lot of people looking to dump Bitcoin around those prices, as I've been saying here on the channel once again. And so as soon as the price got close to that area, we quickly pulled back to the downside. And obviously, I've already been saying over the last couple of days, expect a lot of choppy sideways price action in this sideways price range in between this area of support and this area of resistance. So I would not flip overly bullish again until we actually see a confirmed breakout back above 68,000, which right now has not happened. And when it comes to support to pay attention to, at least here on the daily time frame, based on previous support and resistance and traded volume in this VPVR indicator, we have a lot of support around 63 to 64,000. And so in the short term, that is the area of support to pay attention to. But in a more bearish scenario, if the price actually confirms a break below around 63,000, then in that case, we could likely return down towards these previous lows in the price of Bitcoin. First of all, we should find a lot of support in between 60 to 61,000. And below 60,000, we also have a lot of support at 58,000 and 56,000 based on previous lows in the price of Bitcoin. And so those are all of the important levels of support to pay attention to in the shorter term for the price of Bitcoin. And ultimately, for as long as the price is remaining above this previous low at around 56 to 58,000, for as long as we're still holding above that low, technically speaking, it is still possible that we can remain within the larger bull market, similar to what we saw just here. We're potentially within a massive sideways consolidation range for as long as we hold above the previous low at around 56,000, like what we saw back here. We held above this previous low in the bull market. And so, as I always say, it is important to understand the difference between the different time frames. Even though it is possible we could remain within the larger bull market, like what we saw back here, even back there around 1 year ago, we saw short-term bearish trends and short-term bullish trends on slightly smaller time frames, like the daily chart, for example. And so that is the situation right now. And as I've been saying already over and over again for a while now on the channel, the short-term trend is bearish. And if we're zooming further into the short term, looking at the 3-hour Bitcoin chart, we can see over the last 1 day, and basically right now, this previous bullish divergence is now potentially getting invalidated with a new lower low in the price. But with that being said, even though the price is potentially about to form a new lower low in the candle closes here, we're actually still seeing higher lows in the 3-hour Bitcoin RSI. And so it's actually possible we could form a new bullish divergence with a new lower low in the price and a new higher low in the RSI. But at least for now, that potential new bullish divergence that is forming right now is not yet confirmed. But if it does confirm, it's likely going to play out over a couple of days, similar to what we saw back here, either in the form of some choppy sideways price action or a slight bullish relief, pretty much exactly like what we saw from this bullish divergence as expected over the next couple of days from when it actually confirmed. And as I've also been saying here on the channel, expect a lot of volatility during the week on the weekdays, which has been playing out exactly as expected. We have been seeing some quite volatile days here, up and down, but during the weekends, as we're getting closer to the weekend, we could see less volatility over the weekend, simply based on what we've seen in previous weekends. But once again, at least for now, we're not on the weekend just yet, so we could still see a lot of volatility here in the short term. But then once we actually reach the weekend, we could see reduced volatility just for the weekend as a likely scenario. And it doesn't actually matter if the price is bullish or bearish, because you can make money in either direction with a long position or a short position, for example. And if you want to take trades just like that, personally, I take those sort of trades over on Bybit. So I'll make sure to leave a link to Bybit down below this video in the description and in the pinned comment. And in fact, if you use that link down below this video to make a Bybit account and deposit on that account, then you can get up to a $30,000 deposit bonus, but only if you use that link down below this video. And also, if you use that link, it'll take you to this page right here where there's currently an exclusive 500 USDT airdrop position happening right now. So if you want to claim this free airdrop, all you need to do is simply make a Bybit account using that link, make a deposit, and claim the airdrop. And this 500 USDT position airdrop is available for Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, and a bunch of other cryptos here. But for any of the degens out there, there's also a 200 USDT position airdrop for a bunch of meme coins. And so for anyone that's interested in that, I'll also leave a link to that down below this video. In fact, it'll be the second link below this video will take you to this page right here. And the first link below this video will take you to this page right here. And so if you're going to be trading crypto anyway, you might as well check this out to get set up, ready to go in order to take the next trade. If you want to claim these extra bonuses, once again, check out the links down below this video. But for whatever reason, if you cannot access Bybit or if you cannot KYC on Bybit, there is also Bitflex, which is another crypto exchange similar to Bybit, but you don't need KYC for Bitflex. And so I'll also make sure to leave a link to Bitflex down below this video as an alternative crypto exchange. And if we're taking a quick look at the Bitcoin liquidation heat map, we can see around a day ago, we liquidated a lot of positions that were sitting at around 66,000, and we still technically have some more liquidity to the upside at around 67,500, give or take. But with that being said, after we took out that liquidity at around 66,000, obviously the price came back down to take out a lot of downside liquidity, which was starting to pile up just recently at around 64.3 to 64.2k, give or take. And at least at the time of recording this video, we have actually taken out a lot of that downside liquidity, but we still have some more liquidity to the downside at around 63.9k. So it's possible we could potentially soon see a dip below 64,000. That is potentially a likely scenario based on liquidity in the short term right here. But with that being said, taking a look at Ethereum on the daily time frame, and right now the price of ETH is once again retesting this short-term level of support, which is sitting at around 3470 to 3480. But with that being said, if we start seeing a confirmed break back below that level, then our next retracement level of support is sitting at around 3350, at least on this daily time frame. And like I've already been saying recently here on the channel, just in the shorter term here, we were in a bit of a choppy sideways price range, looking relatively neutral just in the imminent short term. But this was happening during this bearish trend. We have not yet actually confirmed any bullish trend reversal, at least in the short term as of right now. And so ever since I've already been saying that, nothing has really changed. I'm still more bearish than bullish, at least in the short term, which so far has been playing out as expected. And if we're taking a look at this 12-hour time frame, we saw yet another perfect rejection from this golden pocket area of resistance, acting as strong resistance, as we've seen just recently, sitting in between 3.6k to 3650. And so even though we have an active bullish divergence here on the 12-hour time frame, which at least as of right now is technically still active, which remember usually plays out in the form of either a slight bullish relief or choppy sideways price action, which is bullish and bearish price action. Even though that's the case, once again, I've been warning over and over again here on the channel, we have strong resistance in between 3.6k to 3650. So in order to actually start flipping much more bullish again in terms of the short-term trend and momentum, we need to see a confirmed breakout above 3650, which as of right now has not happened. And so even though we will likely due to see a bit of a break or a pause from this short-term bearish trend due to this bullish divergence, which is still technically playing out as of right now, even though that's the case, obviously we have not confirmed any bullish trend reversal. So overall, we're technically looking more bearish than bullish, at least in terms of the short-term trend and momentum. And if we're zooming into the 8-hour time frame, obviously just yesterday we saw an 8-hour candle close only slightly above this descending line of resistance, which was sitting just underneath 3.6k, and we saw one 8-hour candle close just above 3.6k. But once again, in my last video, I reiterated over and over again that we still have strong resistance in between 3.6k to 3650, which we still need to break out above. And obviously yesterday, we did not end up seeing that happening. And when it comes to short-term support, we still have a lot of support based on previous lows right here, just above 3.4k, more specifically around 3420. And so if we hold that support right there, we could still potentially see some more choppy sideways price action, which recently has been playing out exactly as expected. Once again, I've been saying over and over again, expect choppy sideways price action, which means short-term bullish and bearish price action. But this is currently happening during a short-term bearish trend. So that is the situation right now and hasn't really changed over the last one day. And if we're taking a look at Solana on the 8-hour time frame, as I've also been saying, we are still clearly within a short-term bearish trend, even though we took a bit of a pause or break from that bearish trend due to this short-term bullish divergence. We actually bounced from 128 exactly as expected and then bounced back up towards this resistance and then saw multiple rejections exactly from this area of resistance in between 140 to 144. And so that area of resistance is still acting as resistance as expected. And this area of support is the support to pay attention to in between 120 to 128. But even though we've seen some choppy sideways price action here in the short term as expected, ultimately we're still trending more bearish than bullish, at least in the short term. If we're looking at the short term trend and momentum, we are simply still looking bearish. And as I've also been saying over and over again here on the channel, in order to actually start flipping more bullish again in terms of the trend and momentum here in the short term, at the very least, we need to see a confirmed breakout back above 144 approximately, and ideally back above 160 in order to be more confident that we're actually reversing back into the bullish direction for the trend and momentum. So at least for now, things are simply still looking bearish, as I've been saying over and over again here on the channel, at least in the short term right now. But with that being said, if you want to trade any of these moves in the price of any crypto, once again, check out those links down below this video to claim those extra bonuses. And if you want to actually know how to trade crypto, no matter if the price is bullish, bearish, or chopping around sideways, then make sure to watch these videos popping up right here on your screen. The video in the top left shows you how you can profit from bullish or bearish price action using long positions or short positions. And the video in the bottom left shows you how you can easily profit from choppy sideways price action. But anyway, that is everything that I have to say for today. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.